In this video, I'm going to talk about how anybody can retire a millionaire even on a low salary. This is Tim and Amy Rutherford, a couple who retired in their 40s with a net worth of over $1 million. Now, many people dream of retiring with $1 million even at the age of 65, but they retired in their early 40s with the same amount of money. So you may be thinking, for that to happen, they must have had really big salaries or some type of inheritance, right? Not at all. The Rutherfords made a combined annual income of $60,000 at the height of their careers, which is considered low, especially compared to other high income individuals. So how did they do it? The first step is the wealth formula. The wealth formula is how much money you make versus how much money you spend. If you make $30,000 a year, but your yearly expenses also total up to $30,000, you will never be able to become a millionaire or financially free. So the easy approach is to get your total income for each month. Then you want to get an accurate idea of how much money you're going to be spending on all of your expenses for that month. Once you have the difference between these two numbers, now you have the starting point for the wealth formula. Now, the wider the gap between this income and the expenses, then ideally, the quicker and the easier it'll be for you to reach millionaire status. Now, if the gap isn't as wide as you would like it to be, you really only have two options. You have to find a way to reduce your expenses as much as you can, or you have to increase your income as much as you can. Now, for some people, it might not be realistic to just say, hey, stop spending so much, because we all have different responsibilities and different things that require money of us for each month. But this is why you see people that are serious about retirement that didn't take the approach of increasing their income. They take the other approach as far as reducing their expenses as much as they can. They downsize on their home, they downsize on their car and vehicles, and downsize on their lifestyle in general. They live very simple lives. Now, if you prefer not to do that, then increasing the income, you can take two approaches there as well. Whatever job or career you have, you can try to get to the next level in your career, or you can make a career change outside of your career. Then you have the option to start making some money on the side through some type of hustle or small business. Even if you have low expenses and a good income, adding a second or maybe even a third source of income to this formula will greatly accelerate your journey to financial freedom. There's a reason why most millionaires have at least 3 sources of income. So if we want to become millionaires, then we have to model what has already worked. The other positive thing about adding more than one source of income outside of your job is because jobs aren't as stable as they appear to be at times. Now, I work in the tech field, and the tech field has always had a reputation of being the go-to industry if you want a good job and if you want to make a lot of money. But last year, many of these tech companies started to have mass layoffs and hiring freezes, so it was even harder to get a different job compared to years before. So my point is, having more than one source of income will definitely help you get to your goal a lot quicker, but it'll also help you to not be so dependent on one job. You can have the perfect plan, the perfect savings, but if your job decides to lay you off or your industry takes a downturn, then it's like building your entire retirement and your entire journey to financial freedom on a house of cards. Because no matter the industry, nothing is for sure and nothing is for certain. So we have to do our best to try to put as much control over our finances as we can and not in the hands of some executives. Now, once you decide on your approach as far as reducing your expenses, increasing your income, or a combination of both, now this is where the fun begins with the next step of investing consistently. Now, notice I didn't say saving. After you save for an emergency fund, you don't really get much else from saving a lot more money unless you're saving for a big purchase, for example, like a new house. But using this extra gap between your expenses and your income towards investing is the key to all of this. Now, when it comes to investing, it's a good idea to automate your investing. Automation is popular in many industries, and it's a good reason why. Companies know that humans fail a lot, so the more that they can have computers do things for us, the better. So if all these companies and all these businesses understand that automation is the key to success and streamlining their process, then we have to do the same. If someone gave you the perfect plan to become a millionaire, all the information you needed as far as how much money to save, when to save, but they told you that you had to do this every month for the next 10 to 20 years, would you be able to do it? I don't know about you, but I highly doubt that I would be able to do it consistently. Although we know that investing in our future is very important, that one time that your friends invite you to go on a trip, or Nike showed you an ad on Instagram and you just had to have them, it will make you justify why missing 1 month of contributing to your investments is okay. But that's really the problem, because 1 month turns into 2 months, which turns into 3 months. And before you know it, you're not being consistent at all as far as investing into your accounts. So to avoid that, you'll want to automate your investments by having a direct deposit into your investment accounts as soon as you get paid. This is a great strategy even mentally, because you don't actually see the money coming out of your account. What I mean by this is, say you get paid $500 a week, but you only see $400 in your checking account because the other $100 has already been allocated to your investments. You don't miss this other $100 because in your eyes, you didn't have it in the first place. Now compare that to getting paid $500 for the week. You see $500 in your account and someone tells you you need to deposit $100 into your investment account every week. It's a mental thing, but it's gonna be a little bit tougher because you're going to feel like you're missing out on another opportunity to spend that money elsewhere. So now that we know that automating the investing is important, now we need to know how much to invest. So how much should you invest? What I'm going to share here is a general idea on what you should aim for based on your age. If you're 30 years old, you want to make sure you at least have this amount in your investments and your savings. So being 30 years old, if you make $60,000 a year, then you want to make sure you have at least $60,000 invested and saved. Now as you get older, this multiplier increases. So much so that by age 35, which is only 5 more years, you will want to have 2 times the salary. So instead of only having invested $60,000, you will want to have $120,000. Now you may be thinking,
that's a lot of money to have saved and invested.
But this type of recommendation is based on you maintaining your current lifestyle. So however your lifestyle is right now, and you don't want to change anything about your lifestyle at all, this is the type of money you would want to have invested. But the honest truth is that most times as we get older, instead of the bigger house, we start to downsize into a smaller home, a more economical car. Our lifestyle in general should start to decrease as we get older. So if you plan to downsize as you start to get older and get closer towards retirement, then you can probably use a smaller multiplier compared to what the chart I just showed. It's also important to know that this number includes everything, not just your savings or your personal investment accounts. This includes your 401k, your checking account, and any other assets that can become liquid. Now, once you know how much you want to aim to invest, how do you actually invest this money? When I first realized that investing was a way to really start to build some wealth, I took the wrong approach, mostly because I was only able to contribute maybe a couple $100s a month, and I wanted to grow this money a lot faster. So I used this money to invest in high risk assets like options, penny stocks, small cap stocks, because I wanted to get rich quick. I bought into the stories of seeing people that took a little bit of money and turning it into a lot. But in the end, I ended up losing years of time that I could have been invested in the right things, and I would have had a way bigger account than I did. So the simplest way to invest your money is in diversified assets like index funds, mutual funds, and ETFs. You all know I'm a big fan of index funds, and it's a reason why. Index funds are great because they're already diversified for you. They're very easy to understand. You don't have to do a ton of research. You can invest your money, kick back, and you can relax. Instead of trying to build out a diversified portfolio with individual stocks, it's going to cost you a lot more money and a lot more research and work in the end. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't properly diversify their account anyway. So it's a lot easier to invest in assets that have done it for you. Now, the accounts. Probably the most important account that you can have is your Roth IRA, or if you have a 401k available and they have a Roth 401k, then that'll be a great option as well. The Roth is great because you're investing with after-tax money now, but as your money starts to build and compound over time, when you're ready to take that money out of your account, you don't have to pay any taxes on it. I love this because my goal is to always get to a higher tax bracket. So compared to a traditional 401k, where I'm making all of this pre-tax money into my contributions now, but if I get to a much higher tax bracket in the future, when I want to take that money out, they're going to tax me at that tax bracket, not at the tax bracket where I was making my pre-tax contributions. With the Roth, it's flipped. So you can feel better about growing your money and compounding your money as much as you can, because when you want to take it out in the future, that's all yours. Now, I mentioned compounding, and compounding is pretty much the key to this whole thing. Compound interest is the interest you earn on your initial investment, but also the interest on top of the interest over a period of time. Think about it like this. Let's say you have a $1,000 investment and you get a 5% return at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, that means you would have gained $50 in interest. So your $1,000 is now $1,050 without you making any more contributions. Now let's say you're going into year 2 and you get another 5% return. Instead of starting with $1,000, you're starting with $1,050. So after the second year, this 5% return is $52.50 instead of $50, which will bring your total up to $1,102.50. So you can see how your money is growing without you putting one more dollar into that account, which I hope you wouldn't be planning on doing. You will always try to contribute as often as much as you can. Now, the longer the investment has to compound, the greater the impact of compounding interest. And this is why compound interest has the nickname the magic of compounding, because it has the ability to exponentially grow your investment over time. So to add your automated investing, consistent contributions, and compounding interest, this will give your money the best chance to grow and give you the life you want and deserve in the future, even if you're on a low salary. So that's what I have for you in this video. If you like the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.